Sure. All right. Hey, everybody. So, all silliness aside, let's talk about this Epiphone Les Paul. If you've been wondering whether or not to get one, I think right now is the time to do it. The Modern. This is the Les Paul Epiphone Les Paul Modern. I have a Les Paul copy right there. But gosh darn it, this is kind of a vanity buy because I partially just don't need it, but I loved it. The faded Pelham blue. I'm going to get into other things I love about this, but I got a vintage brand Les Paul back there. And so, but every time I said, well, I got a Les Paul, I knew I really didn't. It was a Les Paul copy, but I stumbled over whether or not to justify that or, tell the truth about it. Do I need to? It's a Les Paul copy, but it's not Les Paul. Anyway, so that was kind of nagging at me. And some people might say, well, your Epiphone isn't a real Les Paul. Yes, it is. It says so right there on the headstock. Now, I got this little cover off because I did have to adjust the neck a bit to add more relief, but now I have the prescribed recommended amount of relief in the neck. But this thing is awesome. The Modern series is awesome. I got a great deal, brand new from Guitar Center. $540. Oh, what? But let's go over this. First of all, headstock is classic, very nice. Locking tuners by Grover. I'm not, locking tuners for me are for the ease of string changes. I think it's debatable whether or not they are any better at tuning stability than just a properly wound string. I have other guitars with locking tuners and have tuning issues. This one, however, no tuning issues. So really nice. The Tusk nut is holding up. It's a little bit high. I'm going to take the slots down, but it's very acceptable as is. So really, again, nice, and it fits in there. No glue around the edges. The binding on the neck is beautiful, matches the binding around the body. Jumbo frets, which are really nice. Mahogany body and neck with a maple cap. So, you're getting a lot of high-end features. Now, one thing I did on this right away was I sanded the neck down. You can see right here where I put a piece of tape on it, so it makes a nice margin. It looks like it was supposed to be that way instead of an accident. I go, oh, what's wrong with your neck? And then down here, there's another line. Can't see that one as well, but just hit that with some 150 right off the bat, and then used some 1000 to finally, smooth it out. Didn't take long at all. I didn't tape the binding here, but you probably should. But I just kept my sandpaper a little bit off of the binding. But the difference on the neck is amazing just from hitting it with that sandpaper. So it's a huge recommendation. Huge recommendation. And then moving on down, we've got the carve away heel joint, which is really delightful. A couple weeks ago, I played a parent brought in a Gibson Custom Shop Ace Frehley guitar. I could I'll put a picture in the end. But an Ace Frehley guitar. There was 300 made. His face is in the headstock. It's got the 3 humbuckers. He signed it. It's actually signed by the Spaceman. Parent dropped it off for my buddy, and I had to play for the day. And it was totally fun. But the heel joint on that thing was actually sharp enough that when I grabbed it, it was ouch. Because I'm used to grabbing these other newer guitars that have relief back here. Boy, really hard to get around. Painfully hard. So, super nice that this is here. Now, they also have done dramatic weight relief. This thing weighs 7.6 pounds. They do vary. Some of them go up above 8, but I was just crossing my fingers that I got a good one. And not just in weight, but that overall. Because sometimes you can have the same line of guitar, and there's good ones, and there's other ones that are a struggle to set up or that just quite not right. This is a good one. So thank you, Chad, at Guitar Center. So weight relief, 7.6 pounds, which is awesome. It balances very well. The cover plates in the back are recessed into the body, which is another nice feature. Beautiful finish, really beautiful. And then, of course, on the front, We've got a decent selector switch. Haven't had any problems with that. Beautiful nickel-plated humbuckers. And then you have the electronics. So we've got a splittable humbucker right there. This is the Pro Bucker series, I believe. This tone right here, you pull that and the pickups go out of phase, which I'm getting to like. In fact, I'm starting to like that for my lead tone, high gain lead tone. You have to set your boost up with a little more headroom because you lose a little bit when you put your pickups out of phase, but it's actually a really interesting lead tone, high gain lead tone. So check that out if you haven't. And the thing was intonated properly from the get-go. The bridge looks great. I haven't had any issues. I like the see-through knobs. I just like everything about this. I think they got it right. So I would, if you've been waiting, I would get one. It's a great instrument. Very happy with it. Oh, the other thing is, you know, it's loaded with nice features, but this jack right here is not easy to get in. I mean, when you pop this thing in, it's popped in there. It's not going to come out unless you pull it out, which is another really nice feature, something you don't see unless it's on a higher end guitar. Switchcraft jack. I mean, that thing is, there's no doubt that it is in. It really snaps in tightly. Yeah, just no issues at all, except I do have a high fret somewhere up in here, about a 64th or so high, and then there's another one back here that's just a smidge high. It's worth taking down, but this one up here, I do have one that I will definitely take down, and that will, taking the nut down plus that high fret is going to help that action settle in really nicely. It's a little bit high right now, but kind of typical for Les Pauls. Les Paul action is always seems to be a little bit high, not like a Jackson or ESP or a Wolfgang, where you can get the action so low for some reason and they still sound great. Maybe it's an issue of scale length. I'm not sure. But as is, still just plays great. I don't have tuning issues with open chords and then power chords sliding up like you often do. I thought I might have to get a compensated nut, but I don't know. I don't think I will. Just take those slots down a little bit. So, highly recommend it. All right. So if you've been thinking about getting a Les Paul Modern, Epiphone Modern, grab one up. They're beautiful. Now, another interesting thing is I've been selling some stuff off, and sold my Godin guitar, which I miss, but it was P90s and I didn't play it much anyway. But as far as an artsy guitar that played beautifully, it was a quality instrument, but I really didn't go to it, so I can sell it. But of what I've kept, this is interesting. I ended up, the ESP is the outlier, but I ended up with 2 Wolfgangs, 2 Fenders, and 2 Charvels. And now I have an Epiphone as well. All right. Okay, so you all take care. Also, loving the Marshall JCM 800. Since I've got it, I really haven't been playing anything else. Really loving that amp. It's awesome. Got to do a bright cap mod to it, though, and that'll be coming up soon. All right, so take care, everybody. All right. So I'll try to show you these on the, this is stupid, I know, but there's the guitar by the man himself. Ooh, focus. And, wrong way. Yeah, there's his picture, Ace Frehley on the headstock. And there's yours truly, goofy guy, with it in his hands. So I was going to say sweaty paws. But so, you know, it was so fun to play a bit of history. The headstock's really cool. And then, of course, it being signed, and the case was signed. Spaceman with the Ace of Hearts. Really cool to put hands on that. And it was heavy and thick and big. But you know what was really stood out from it was the pickups. The tone from that thing through my little Marshall at work was outrageous. That's why good PAF pickups are $500 a set. is because that's kind of the tone everybody would like. It's beautiful. All right. See ya.